Thank you for the nice introduction, Gaurav. I would like to start with my personal take on this. I, for one, I'm not at all shocked, at the kind of nexus that Turkey and Pakistan have come up recently. If you look at the leadership of both the countries, both Erdogan as well as Imran Khan, they are diseased with an expansionist and a religious mindset. This is something which brings them very close. Looking at the history of Erdogan, he was elected as a prime minister in 2003. Then in 2014, he became the president. And in 2015, he lost the parliamentary majority. And then somehow, using his own skill sets, he managed to have a re-election. And I think in 2016, he managed to do a referendum which basically abolished all the rights of the prime minister so that, all the rights, all the power is vested with the president. And ever since then, he has embarked on a journey of pan Islamism. Uh, he wants to be the new caliph of the Sunni nations, and we have seen how UAE recently they are evolving. They have changed their policies. They have changed. They are bringing in social reforms. They are more accepting of other faiths, which is something that Erdogan really wants to capitalize on, just like Imran Khan. And you talk about both Pakistan and Turkey. Both of them like to infiltrate others' territories. We talk about illegal boat policy of Turkey. We saw how Turkey sent a drilling ship to Mediterranean in 2019, May. And I think 2 months later, EU sanctioned Turkey, and their financial aid was also cut by a considerable amount for 2020. But this also did not deter Erdogan from doing what he is doing. And EU has continued to support Greece, but I somehow feel that the support is not enough because there has to be a clear policy, which I think somehow EU has not been able to do, uh, because despite the sanctions and all the reprimand, Turkey has maintained that they will continue to do their hydrocarbon activities in the Mediterranean, and they have continued to send uh, the drilling ships to the region. That shows that there is no intention on Turkey's part to basically mend their ways. And this is also a lot to do with the economy. Ever since COVID outbreak has happened, I mean, of course, it has hurt economy of every other country on the globe. But Turkey's economy has been crumbling for a while now. And what do these people do? This is a very natural transition that you make. Whenever your country is in a problem, you have a lot of answers to give. You turn to religion as some sort of a rescue. This is the same thing that Pakistan has been doing, the same thing Turkey is doing. And like I said, since both of them are, they are natural allies because both the countries are diseased with some sort of a religious, bigoted mindset. So they definitely come together as natural allies. This is what is also pushing Erdogan to make irresponsible statements beyond Kashmir, beyond France. We did not see any other state chief doing what Erdogan did when there were terror attacks in France. He's a guy who kind of justified the attacks, and in fact, I feel the attacks which happened later, they were really inspired by what the leaderships of Pakistan and Turkey were pushing, the kind of agenda that they were pushing. Even on the anti-Hindu Delhi riots, we saw how the kind of statements that Erdogan made. He said that the killers are Hindus and the victims are Muslims. I don't think any other state chief would make such a statement apart from Erdogan and Imran Khan. So, since they are tied by religious bigotry, they are tied by a diseased expansionist mindset. uh, India and Greece, we need to come up with not only India and Greece, but I think all the countries which are bothered by Turkey's policies. You talk about France, you talk about Armenia, you talk about Cyprus. Everybody is just done with Turkey, and I think all of us need to come up together. We need to form an alliance, which is good not just for India and Greece, like the other people on the panel said. We need to look at the world peace. We need to make sure that these two countries, they don't come together to disrupt the world peace. I'm very hopeful about the Turkish army, because they have always been the protectors of the Kemalism. The first president of Turkey, what was his name? Mustafa. Uh, he as a leader, he brought a lot of social reforms. He brought modernity and secularism to Turkey. But whatever good has been done over the last 100 years, Erdogan is like hell bent on reversing all of that. The recent incident of Hagia Sophia is a big example. An old cathedral, an Orthodox cathedral, which has been a museum for centuries now. This has been reversed overnight. That shows the complete disregard that the Turkish leadership has for its minorities. And what does Erdogan call it? He calls it resurrection of the Ottoman Empire. So that means he wants to take Turkey back to those times when, Islam used to rule. He has absolutely no regard for what is happening around in the world today, because the future is inclusive, but the Turkish leadership doesn't seem to understand it. And from this mindset is what this whole hamdardi, this whole sympathy for Kashmir, this stems from the same mindset, because this is kind of a uh, Turkey and Pakistan. Probably there is already a plan in place that you give us the nuclear know-how, because Erdogan has made it public many times that he wants to have nuclear weapons. So, of course, there are rogue elements in the Pakistan army. I mean, they can do anything so that religious terrorism is fueled, it is fanned in Kashmir. So, it is very important that these two countries are tamed, because, if Turkey acquires nuclear weapons, it is not going to be good for the world peace. And I also feel that India should tap into this, because since Turkey has a dispute with all its neighbors, most of its neighbors. You talk about Sunni Kurds. He has a problem with them. You talk about non-Sunni organizations. He has a problem with them. He has also severed. Erdogan has also severed his ties with the Western world, because he's been align too much with Putin. But they also, again, they have some sort of a disagreement over the Assad regime. So if you look at Turkey's position today, basically Turkey also doesn't have too many friends, at least sensible friends, apart from Pakistan. It's pretty easy for us to tackle them for now, unless we just decide to sit over it and not do anything about it. So I'm very hopeful that the Indian government and the governments in the EU, they would take note of it, and they would take measures before it's too late. And that's about it.